Maleficent is a 2014 American fantasy film starring Angelina Jolie as the title character in a live-action retelling of her villainous role in Walt Disney's 1959 animated film Sleeping Beauty, itself an adaptation of the 1697 fairy tale. The film was directed by Robert Stromberg and written by Linda Woolverton. It also stars Sharlto Copley, Elle Fanning, Sam Riley, Imelda Staunton, Juno Temple, and Lesley Manville. Maleficent was originally developed as an animated project in 2003, before it was changed to a live-action feature in 2006, following Disney's acquisition of Pixar. Tim Burton was originally attached to direct the film, but was replaced by Stromberg in his directorial debut. Jolie signed on to play the title role in January 2012 and also served as the film's executive producer. The rest of the main cast joined between March and May 2012. Principal photography took place at Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire, England, from June to October 2012. Maleficent premiered in El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood on May 28, 2014. And was released in the United States theatrically on May 30 by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It received mixed reviews from critics and was a commercial success, grossing over $758 million worldwide and becoming the fourth highest grossing film of 2014. It received an Academy Award nomination for Best Costume Design at the 87th Academy Awards. A sequel, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, was released in 2019. Plot: Maleficent is a powerful fairy living in the moors, a magical forest realm. As a child, she meets a human boy named Stefan, and they fall in love with each other. However, as they get older, they grow apart, with Stefan's love overshadowed by his ambition to be king, while Maleficent becomes protector of the moors. When King Henry attempts to conquer the moors, Maleficent mortally wounds him. On his deathbed, he declares whoever kills her will be king and marry his daughter Leela. Stefan visits Maleficent and drugs her. Unwilling to kill her, Stefan instead uses a bracelet made of iron, which is lethal to fairies, to burn off her wings and presents them as proof of her death. While distraught by her loss, Maleficent saves Diaval, a trapped raven, from a farmer by turning him into a human. Diaval offers his service and tells her of Stefan's coronation. Infuriated over the betrayal, Maleficent grows cruel and bitter, ruling the moors with an iron fist. Years later, Diaval informs Maleficent about the christening of Stefan's newborn daughter, Aurora. Maleficent arrives uninvited while three pixies, Knotgrass, Flittle, and Thistlewood, are bestowing magic gifts, and places a curse on Aurora. Before the sun sets on Aurora's 16th birthday, Aurora will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and fall into a death-like sleep. Maleficent mocks Stefan's plea for mercy, but states Aurora's curse can be broken by true love's kiss, which she and Stefan both believe is non-existent. Stefan orders the pixies to hide and protect Aurora in a forest cottage until after her 16th birthday. He also destroys every spinning wheel in the kingdom, hiding their remnants in the castle dungeon. He then sends his army after Maleficent, but she surrounds the moors with a wall of thorns. Over the years, Stefan begins mass manufacturing iron weapons non-stop and grows obsessed with killing Maleficent to the point of insanity, even refusing to see his wife on her deathbed. Maleficent and Diaval watch Aurora grow from afar, and secretly begin taking over care of her from the incompetent pixies. After several face-to-face encounters with Maleficent, whom she regards as her fairy godmother, Aurora bonds with her and regularly visits the moors. Realizing she does not have the heart to hurt Aurora, Maleficent privately and unsuccessfully attempts undoing Aurora's curse, forgetting she made no power on earth able to do so. Meanwhile, Aurora meets Philip, a prince from the neighboring kingdom, and both take a liking to each other. Aurora gains Maleficent's permission to live in the moors before her 16th birthday. The next day, however, the pixies are forced to reveal Aurora's lineage and curse when she informs them. Heartbroken, Aurora confronts Maleficent and rides to her father's castle, where Stefan locks her up, angered that the pixies did not do their job. As the sun sets, the curse's power calls to Aurora and hypnotically draws Aurora to the dungeon, where Aurora pricks her finger on a spindle of a rebuilt magic spinning wheel and falls into a death-like sleep. Hoping to save her, Maleficent and Diaval abduct Philip and infiltrate the castle. Despite the pixies urging him, Philip's kiss is not enough. Afterward, Maleficent tearfully kisses Aurora, awakening her with true maternal love. As Maleficent, Aurora, and Diaval attempt to leave, Stefan and his guards ambush them. Maleficent transforms Diaval into a dragon, but both are subdued. Aurora finds and releases Maleficent's caged wings, which reattach themselves to Maleficent, allowing her to fight back. Maleficent drags Stefan to the top of a tower. Unwilling to kill him, she announces the fight is over and leaves, but Stefan tackles her from behind, dragging them both off. She saves herself with her wings, while he loses hold and falls to his death. With Stefan gone, Maleficent brings down the thorn wall, returns the Moors to their former glory and crowns Aurora their new ruler, uniting the two kingdoms. Aurora also starts a relationship with Philip. Cast. Main article, list of Disney's Sleeping Beauty characters. Top row, Angelina Jolie, Elle Fanning, Sharlto Copley, and Lesley Manville play Maleficent, Aurora, Stefan, and Flittle. Bottom row, Imelda Staunton, Juno Temple, Sam Riley, and Brenton Thwaites play Knotgrass, Thistlewood, Diaval, and Prince Philip. Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, a fierce and vindictive protector of the Moors who, in revenge for the betrayal by her former lover Stefan, places a curse on his daughter Aurora. 3-4 Unlike her animated counterpart, this version of the character is portrayed more sympathetically. 5 As the film progresses, Maleficent turns from a victim into a villain, following Stefan's betrayal, and finally into a hero because of the maternal feelings she develops for Aurora. 6 Jolie described her character as slightly insane, extremely vibrant, a little wicked, and has a big sense of humor, so she's quite full on. She's one of those characters that, for me, you couldn't do halfway. 7. She further admitted that Maleficent was one of the most difficult characters that she had ever played because she represents all sides of what it is to be human, even though she is not. For me, the journey of playing her has been much heavier, much more emotional, and much more difficult in experience than I expected. 8. Isabelle Malloy as young Maleficent. 9. Ella Purnell as teen Maleficent. 10. Elle Fanning as Aurora, also known as Sleeping Beauty, an innocent, pure-hearted, and free-spirited daughter of Stefan and Leela who falls under Maleficent's curse. 3:11-12 Fanning described her character as very free-spirited, and since she has been kept away from normal life, she's very open to things and innocent. But that's what makes her very likable and charming. 13. Robert Stromberg highlighted the contrast between Aurora and Maleficent, which he described as the beacon of light versus darkness. It reminds me a little of the girl plucking petals from the flower in Frankenstein. It's such a wonderful contrast, and the joy in making this film was bringing those two elements together and discovering things that we normally wouldn't know. 14. Vivian Jolie Pitt as 5-year-old Aurora. 15. Eleanor Worthington Cox as 8-year-old Aurora. 16. Janet McTeer as an elderly Aurora, who serves as the film's narrator. 17. Sharlto Copley as Stefan, Aurora's ambitious and vengeful father and Maleficent's former childhood friend/lover, who cuts off the latter's wings to become the king. 3:18-19 Unlike his animated counterpart, this version of the character is portrayed in a more antagonistic light. 6 Commenting on his character, Copley said that it was an opportunity to play a character that was almost like a cautionary tale for men. To have a character like Stefan, who has what most men have, which is a desire to be ambitious, and driven, and the proverbial king of his castle. He literally becomes the king of his castle, but is prepared to sacrifice his true love to get there. It was an interesting character and opportunity to play that kind of male ego running away with itself. 20. Michael Higgins as young Stefan. 21. Jackson Booz as teen Stefan. 3. Lesley Manville, Imelda Staunton, and Juno Temple as Flittle, Knotgrass, and Thistlewood, a trio of incompetent and inept pixies whom Stefan charges with taking care of Aurora until her 16th birthday. 3:22:23 These versions of the characters are markedly different from their animated counterparts, named Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, with their role being reduced to comic relief. 24 Commenting on her character, Manville said that Flittle is incredibly proud of her special magical power that allows her to turn things blue. She can turn everything blue and she thinks everything should be blue as well. 25. Staunton described Knotgrass as the most important pixie, in her own head. Very bossy, very organized, has to control everything. There are 3 pixies and she is the self-appointed grown-up among them. 26. According to Temple, Thistlewood is the youngest member and she is definitely more away with the fairies than the other 2. She's more distracted by nature. She wants to smell flowers and she wants to dance around, so she's a much younger free spirit. 25. Sam Riley as Diaval, Maleficent's shape-shifting raven companion. 3:22 Riley described his character as Maleficent's loyal ally who can fly to places and spy for her. Their relationship blooms and Diaval develops an affection for her. He's the only character who's capable of telling her when she becomes a little overwrought and who really knows what she's thinking. 27. Stromberg elaborated that Diaval is the conscience in the ear of Maleficent at all times. He helps her down the path of finding out who she is. He comes at the lowest point in Maleficent's life and becomes, in addition to Aurora, the other character that really pulls Maleficent out of her dark hole. 3. The film also features Brenton Thwaites as Philip, a prince who befriends and falls in love with Aurora. 28-29 Kenneth Cranham portrays King Henry, Stefan's predecessor, and Layla's father, whose efforts to conquer the Moors get him slain by Maleficent. 22-30-31 Hannah New portrays Princess Leela, King Henry's daughter, Stefan's wife, and Aurora's mother. 3:32 New described her character as a demure, untouchable princess. 33. Production. Development. It was about 2003, maybe, when we're sitting around one day, asking, who is a really strong and interesting female character we can base a movie on, and somebody said Maleficent, but I can't point out exactly who it was. It made sense, because she was this really popular villainess who is glamorous and like a runway model. Still, she's been wounded somehow in the past. We thought we could do a wicked thing with Maleficent and show her backstory. That was just the germ of the idea and it sat in animation for a while. We did some development and some drawings on it, but then it went pretty quickly over to live action, where it sat. Don Hahn, on developing the idea for Maleficent 34. The idea for Maleficent was conceived during Don Hahn's meeting with the Disney's animation department in 2003, where it was pitched as an animation project revolving around the origin of the eponymous antagonist from Walt Disney's animated film Sleeping Beauty, 1959. 35-36 The timing of the idea was inspired by the just-released Broadway musical Wicked. 34 While opening the musical adaptation of Mary Poppins in the West End of London in December 2004, Hahn met with Tim Burton to pitch him several movie ideas for Disney, including Maleficent, which Burton was instantly interested in. 37-38 Simultaneously, Sean Bailey, who was an independent producer at the time, began developing the same concept for a live-action feature, which he envisioned as a Disney version of Michael Corleone in The Godfather. Have a character do something that's empirically terrible, curse a child, but set it up in such a way that you felt differently about it. Bailey wanted Angelina Jolie for the role of Maleficent and mentioned the idea during lunch with Jolie's manager, receiving a positive response within a few hours. 37 When Bailey presented his concept to the Disney executives, they told him about Hahn's project and suggested they team up. 39 Jolie's interest in the title role prompted the filmmakers to consider moving Maleficent from animation to live action, which they did after Disney acquired Pixar and reshuffled the animation department in 2006. 3540 The project was eventually suspended due to Burton being busy working on Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street and Alice in Wonderland. 4041 By the summer of 2009, as Alice in Wonderland entered post-production, Burton renewed his interest in Maleficent. 42 Around the same time, Han approached Linda Woolverton, who had just collaborated with Burton on Alice, to write the script. 43 Burton dismissed his involvement with the film as a rumor in February 2010, but the following month, The Guardian reported that he would helm the project, with The Hollywood Reporter confirming Woolverton as the film's writer. 42 44 45 At that point, Richard D. Zanuck also joined the production as a producer, until his death in 2012. 36 After Woolverton boarded the project, the creative team, which included Woolverton, Burton, Han, and Zanuck, began developing the story, with several drafts made over the course of almost a year. 34-36 In November 2010, Burton confirmed that he would direct Maleficent, but he had withdrawn by May 2011, due to his commitment to Dark Shadows. 38-46-47 After Burton's departure, David Yates, Darren Aronofsky, and David O. Russell were considered to take over as director. 47-48-49 Guillermo del Toro also expressed interest in directing Maleficent, citing the original 1959 animated film as one of his favorite Disney features. 50 By September 2011, Joe Roth had joined the project as a producer, and in January 2012, Deadline Hollywood reported that Robert Stromberg, who had been the production designer on Alice in Wonderland, would helm Maleficent in his directorial debut. 51-52 Palak Patel, the film's executive producer, said that after finishing Alice, Stromberg really wanted to direct. "We said, okay, but we've got Oz the Great and Powerful and we need a production designer. Why don't you do Oz, then we'll make a movie." In the middle of shooting Oz, Maleficent came in. 40. Writing. After watching the 1959 animated movie, I came up with some ideas that revealed more about Maleficent's character. I created a past for her that leads to the singular moment in which she curses the baby Aurora and then takes us past that moment from Maleficent's point of view through the ending of the film. But it's a reinvention, it's not just a retelling of the same story. The character really is fantastic, and once we had Angelina Jolie, my task was to seamlessly meld the two into one to recreate a classic, but wholly unique Maleficent. Linda Woolverton, on developing the story of Maleficent 3. Linda Woolverton's screenplay went through at least 15 versions as the film progressed in production. 53 Stromberg said, "I met many times with Linda Woolverton, the writer. We did lots of roundtable discussions and sort of cut out the fat as much as we could and sort of purified the storyline as much as we could." 54 Paul Dini also performed rewrites on the project with Stromberg. 55 and was credited in early press. 56-57 In some earlier versions of the story, Stefan was the half-human, half-fairy bastard son of King Henry. The version of the screenplay that went into shooting originally included two characters called Queen Ula and King Kinloch, the Fairy Queen and Fairy King of the Moors and the aunt and uncle of Maleficent. 22 Miranda Richardson and Peter Capaldi were cast and shot the Queen Ula and King Kinloch scenes, but their roles were cut in the editing process together with more than 15 minutes of the first act of the film. Stromberg said, "We spent a bit more time originally in the fairy world before we got into the human side of things. We wanted to get the film under 2 hours. So we cut about 15 minutes out of the first act, and then that had to be seen together with some pretty basic reshoots." 58. Stromberg later claimed in an interview that he employed an age-old emotional storytelling for the film and called it the biggest thrill against all technology advances. 14 And the way we play with that is we have somebody who's perhaps in love but betrayed and doesn't believe that true love exists. So the moral to it is we can all feel dark ourselves but not to lose hope because there is light in places where we might not be expecting, he explained. 14. Casting. It's one of those rare movies where there wasn't a list. It was just about Angelina Jolie, and she came on really early on. The first person I pitched it to, as a director, was Tim Burton. Even then, she was circling the project. Tim had worked with Linda Woolverton, so we brought her in, as a writer. Eventually, he had some scheduling problems and had to go off and do Sweeney Todd, but Jolie was always circling it. She loves this character, and this character has a lot of layers to it. There's a facade that this character puts up, that seems very in control, manipulative and able to deal with anything, but as you peel back the layers, you see that beneath that facade is a lot of hurt, anger, and vulnerability. The way she plays it, as an actress, is brilliant cause she only shows you those cards when you need to see them. Don Hahn, on casting Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. 41. Angelina Jolie was the first and only choice for the role of Maleficent. 41. According to Don Hahn, they never made a list of other choices because she seemed like she understood the flesh and blood of the character and could play the nuance. 36. Both Sean Bailey and Joe Roth further stated that the film would not have been made if Jolie had refused. 59. 60. Jolie entered negotiations by March 2010, and signed on for the role in late January 2012, which she personally confirmed during the 62nd Berlin International Film Festival the following month. 439. 45. 61. She was also hired as the film's executive producer. 62. Jolie was initially unsure of making a film about somebody who curses a baby, but was still interested in the idea because of her fascination with the character of Maleficent as a child, and ended up being very moved by the script. 63. Her decision to accept the role was also influenced by the persuasions of her children and brother. 464. Jolie earned about $33 million for her role, which made her the highest paid actress of 2013. 65. In March 2012, Elle Fanning was reported to be in talks for the role of Aurora. 11. She was the only choice of the filmmakers after they saw her performance as Alice Daynard in Super 8, 2011. 41. 66. Roth said that he brought Fanning to the studio literally the next day, told her all about the project, told her about Angelina Jolie, and she said I'm in. 66. Later that month, Jim Sturgis and Gail Garcia Bernal were reported to be trying out for the role of Diaval, with Jude Law, who had co-starred with Jolie in Sky Captain and The World of Tomorrow, in negotiations to play Stefan. 67. Sharlto Copley was eventually cast as Stefan by May 2012, and a few days later, The Hollywood Reporter announced the casting of Imelda Staunton as Notgrass, Kenneth Cranium as King Henry, Sam Riley as Diaval, Lesley Manville as Flittle, and Miranda Richardson as Queen Ulla, whose role was deleted from the final cut. 1822. On the same day, Variety reported that India Isley would play the teenage version of Maleficent, and later that month, Juno Temple and Brenton Thwaites were cast as Thistlewood and Prince Philip. 23. 28. 68. Anya Taylor-Joy later revealed that she also auditioned for the role of teenage Maleficent. 69. In August 2012, Vivian Jolie Pitt, Jolie's real-life daughter with Brad Pitt, was announced to play 5-year-old Aurora. 70. She was cast due to being the only child on the set who was not scared of Jolie in her full Maleficent costume. 64. Jolie initially offered the role to her other daughter, Shiloh, but she refused. 71. Two other children of Jolie, Pax and Zahara, ended up appearing as extras in the christening scene. 15. Toby Rigbo was originally cast as the teenage version of Stefan, but after the filmmakers decided that they needed a younger performer, he was replaced by Michael Higgins. 21. 72. By November 2012, Eleanor Worthington Cox and Isabel Malloy were confirmed to play younger versions of Aurora and Maleficent, respectively. 9. 16. Malloy was brought to the attention of the filmmakers by the casting director, who saw her performance as the title character in the West End production of Matilda the Musical, and ended up doing 3 auditions, including a screen test, before she was cast. 73-74 By October 2013, when it was decided to reshoot the film's prologue, Ella Purnell, who originally auditioned for the role of Aurora, replaced Isley as teenage Maleficent. 1075-76 Purnell's casting was personally approved by Jolie, although they never met in person during the film's production. 1077 Filming. Principal photography began on June 13, 2012, at Pinewood Studios. 78-79 Some filming took place in the Buckinghamshire countryside near Turville. 80 Costume design. Maleficent's christening costume on display at FIDM Museum in 2016. Anna B. Shepherd was in charge of designing costumes for the film. 81 She was hired late in pre-production and had about 8 weeks before filming began to create all the costumes from scratch, which she described as a lot of pain, a lot of work, a lot of indecision. 81-82 Shepherd and her team drew inspiration for the designs from French and Italian art of the Renaissance period, including paintings, sketches, and sculptures, creating more than 2,000 costumes by hand. 383 For the character of Maleficent, a separate group within the costume department, named Team Maleficent, was formed to focus solely on her outfits. 82 For Aurora's costumes, Shepherd wanted to move away from the hourglass silhouettes of the character's animated counterpart in favor of more innocent and closer to nature designs, which she felt would be both more natural and age-appropriate for Elle Fanning, who was 14 at the time of filming. 84-85 Reshoots. John Lee Hancock assisted Stromberg with reshoots for the film. Hancock, who had just finished overseeing the final post-production stages of Saving Mr. Banks, was approached by producer Joe Roth, with whom he had worked on Snow White and the Huntsman. Roth said, "He's not directing. He wrote pages, and I hired a first-time director, and it's good to have him on set." Roth was asked why a film of this magnitude was entrusted to a novice director, and he noted that Stromberg won Academy Awards for production design on Avatar and Alice in Wonderland. Roth said, "The movie is gorgeous to look at, and the last 75 minutes are really entertaining." The issue was the opening, which was reshot over 8 days. 86 Visual effects. As a previous production designer, Stromberg sought to balance the use of practical and computer-generated effects. For example, while Maleficent's horns and facial prosthetics were created by makeup artist Rick Baker, Digital Domain took facial capture of Imelda Staunton, Lesley Manville, and Juno Temple for the 3 pixies to be generated with high authenticity with the help of special rigging by Disney Research in Zurich. 14 For the visuals, Stromberg wanted to make it a bit more grounded and not too surreal because it could be distracting from the simplicity of the story. 14 He also regretted not employing bigger sets and allowing actors to work in a more tangible environment, on real sets with real lights. 14 Music. Main article, Maleficent, soundtrack. James Newton Howard was hired to score the film in October 2012. The film marked Howard's first live-action Disney film score, as he had previously scored 3 films from Walt Disney Animation Studios which include Dinosaur, 2000, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, 2001, and Treasure Planet, 2002. 87 On January 23, 2014, recording artist Lana Del Rey was announced as covering the song Once Upon a Dream, from the 1959 film Sleeping Beauty, as the title song for Maleficent. The song Once Upon a Dream is based on the Grand Waltz from ballet Sleeping Beauty written by Russian composer Tchaikovsky. 88-89 The single was released on January 26, 2014, during the 56th Grammy Awards and was made available for free for a limited time through Google Play. 1991 The soundtrack album, featuring Howard's score and Del Rey's cover of Once Upon a Dream was released on May 26, 2014, by Walt Disney Records. 92. Marketing. On August 10, 2013, as part of the live-action motion picture panel of the 2013 Disney D23 Expo in the Anaheim Convention Center at Anaheim, California, Disney unveiled its first look of Maleficent by revealing the new logo of the film's title and a 1-minute clip from the film. Angelina Jolie made a surprise visit to the expo and talked with the attendees about her fascination with Disney's Sleeping Beauty as a child, her working experience with the filmmakers on the film, and her love of Disney. She also remarked on how she scared little girls when she was in costume, makeup, and acting during shooting. This led to the decision to hire her own daughter, Vivian Jolie Pitt, for the role of the young Princess Aurora, since she would not be scared of her during principal photography. 93. Walt Disney Pictures released the teaser poster for Maleficent on November 12, 2013, featuring Jolie in costume and makeup, akin to the character's depiction in the original film. 94-95. The first trailer was released the following day, on November 13. The first teaser trailer was attached to Thor, The Dark World, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Frozen, and Vampire Academy, Blood Sisters. 96. Two more trailers were released in January 2014, revealing Maleficent's appearance. A third trailer featured Lana Del Rey singing Once Upon a Dream. 97. The final trailer was released on March 18, 2014. 98. Starting April 18, 2014, Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disney California Adventure previewed the film inside the ABC Sound Studios and It's Tough to Be a Bug theaters, respectively. 99. A tie-in novelization of the film written by Elizabeth Rudnick was published by Disney Publishing Worldwide on April 29, 2014. 100. Disney Infinity 2.0 featured Maleficent as a playable figure using the look from the film. Release. Maleficent was originally scheduled for a March 14, 2014 release, before it was changed to July 2, 2014. 101. 102. By September 2013, the film's release date was preponed to May 30, 2014, as Pixar's The Good Dinosaur faced production issues and was delayed to 2015. 103. 104. A private exhibition of props and costumes from the film was held at Kensington Palace in London on May 8, 2014, serving as a fundraiser for Great Ormond Street Hospital. 105. 106. The world premiere of Maleficent took place at the El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood on May 28, 2014. 107. On November 22, 2018, a one-time special screening of the film was held in Sofia, Bulgaria at New Bulgarian University, where Bulgarian actor Peter Bakov does the dubbing for every character in the film by changing his voice from male to female live. He later performs part of the film trailer live during the semi-finals on the Got Talent show in Bulgaria in 2019, which leads him to the season finale. 108. 109. He would later be cast as Prince Philip in the Bulgarian dub of the sequel, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. 110. In September 2020, the film returned to cinemas in the United Kingdom following their reopening from closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Box office. Maleficent earned a gross of $241.4 million in the US and Canada, and $517.1 million in other countries, for a worldwide total of $758.5 million against a budget of $180 million. 2. Calculating in all expenses, Deadline Hollywood estimated that the film made a profit of $190.77 million, making it the sixth most profitable film of 2014. 111. Worldwide, in its opening weekend, the film earned $175.50 million, $113.9 million of which were from IMAX locations. 114. It is also the biggest debut among films starring Angelina Jolie. 114, and the actress' highest grossing film of all time worldwide. 115. 116, as well as the fourth highest grossing 2014 film, behind Transformers, Age of Extinction, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, and Guardians of the Galaxy, and the 15th Disney distributed film to surpass the $700 million mark at the worldwide box office. 117. The film is also one of 4 Walt Disney Studios releases in 2014 to gross over $500 million, the other titles being Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Big Hero 6. 118. In North America, Maleficent earned $4.2 million in Thursday night showings, surpassing the midnight or late night grosses of previous live-action fantasy films, Alice in Wonderland, Oz the Great and Powerful 119, 120, and Snow White and the Huntsman. By the end of its opening day, including late-night Thursday earnings, the film earned $24.3 million, similar to Oz, but ahead of Snow White and the Huntsman and behind Alice. 121. Maleficent finished its debut weekend at first place with $69.40 million. 112, $6.7 million of which was earned from IMAX locations and 35% of which was earned from 3D showings, 122. 123, which exceeded Disney's expectations of a $60 million. 124, and making it the largest opening weekend performance for a live-action film starring Jolie, a record previously held by her 2008 film Wanted, 122, as well as the third highest opening weekend for a solo female star, behind the first 2 films. In the Hunger Games series. 125. Disney reported that 46% of ticket buyers in Thursday previews were male. 119, while weekend reports said family audiences accounted for 45% of the film's total audience, and couples and teens accounted for 38% and 18%, respectively. 122. 124 female audiences and moviegoers over 25 years old held respective proportions of 60% and 51%. 122. Dave Hollis, head of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, attributed the success to some momentum and great word of mouth. 124. During its first week, the film earned $93.8 million, ahead of Snow White yet behind Oz and Alice. 126. In its second weekend, Maleficent dropped by 50.6% to $34.3 million, finishing in second place. 112. It experienced a smaller second weekend drop than Snow White. 127. 128, yet still bigger than Oz and Alice. 129. In North America, Maleficent is the 8th highest grossing 2014 film. 130. Maleficent opened outside North America on the same weekend as North America, earning $20.1 million from 35 territories in its first 2 days, May 28 to 29, 2014. 131. During its opening weekend, the film topped the box office with $106.1 million from 47 territories. 113. Its largest opening weekends were in China, $22.2 million, 132 Mexico, $14.0 million, and Russia and the CIS, $13.0 million. 114. On the second weekend of release, Maleficent fell to $61.7 million, earning from 52 markets. 133. 134. It was in first place at the box office outside North America on 3 weekends, its first, third, $39.2 million, 135, 136, and fourth, $47.9 million. 137. Maleficent is the 4th highest grossing 2014 film. 138, and Angelina Jolie's highest grossing live-action film. 115. In total earnings, the film's top markets after North America are Japan, $57.6 million, China, $47.7 million, Mexico, $46.2 million, Russia, $37.7 million, Brazil, $33.2 million, the United Kingdom, $31.7 million, Venezuela, $24.5 million, and Italy, $19.1 million. 139. It was also the most watched film at the Maltese box office in 2014, enjoying an 18-week run. 140. Commercial analysis. Dave Lewis, writing for HitFix, predicted that although Disney fairy tales and Angelina Jolie's performance might attract audiences, Maleficent would not gross even as much as Oz the Great and Powerful, explaining that the film was released on the same time frame with competitive releases such as X-Men, Days of Future Past, Godzilla, and A Million Ways to Die in the West. 141. Though it outperformed those films later on. Box Office wrote that Maleficent had a successful marketing campaign, featured Jolie in the title role, and its female-driven themes and plot aimed at women. However, the site also noted that the film would have to compete with other summer releases, and the character of Maleficent may not attract young children. 142. Todd Cunningham of The Wrap shared the same opinion, writing, "The film's connecting with parents and that Jolie's considerable star power is having a big impact." 143. 144. Wells Fargo's Marcy Revicker predicted that Maleficent might be too dark and scary to be profitable and was likely to force Disney into a write-down, as reported by the New York Times, while RBC Capital Markets' David Bank commented that it's definitely in the not a sure thing bucket. 145. 146. 147. Wall St. Cheat Sheet explained that the film approached to a more grown-up and sinister aspect of the classic, and targeted for an older audience like young adults. "It's just too scary for younger children," the site wrote. 148. Screen Rant added that the PG rating of the film would fill a void in the marketplace, which is currently without a traditional family-friendly option. 149. Box Office Mojo primarily compared the film with 2012 Snow White and the Huntsman, another film that also focused on a fairy tale villain, predicting that Maleficent has a good chance of matching Snow White's gross in North America box office. 150. The film, however, ended up grossing double the amount projected. Variety wrote that the film's opening weekend outperforming initial box office projections was later attributed by analysts in part to Disney's successful marketing to the potent demographic, female audiences, much like the studio accomplished with Frozen, in which both films feature a strong female lead. 151. Disney argued that a lack of family-friendly options in the marketplace would bode well for Maleficent's box office performance in its 2 first weeks of release. 151. The cost of the film was offset by a rebate from the UK in the amount of £23,535,108, $37 million in 2012, the period in which it was shot. 152. Home media. Maleficent was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray 3D, and digital download on November 4, 2014. 153. The film topped the home video sales chart in its first week of release. 154. As of February 2015, Maleficent has made over $74 million in total home video sales. 155. It was the 7th best-selling title of 2014 with 3.6 million units sold. 156. Maleficent was released on 4K UHD Blu-ray on September 24, 2019. 157. Reception. Critical response. Angelina Jolie's performance was repeatedly acclaimed by critics. 158. Maleficent received mixed reviews from critics, who praised the performances, especially Jolie's visual effects and costumes, but criticized the script and Stromberg's direction. 158 159. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported that the film had a 54% approval rating based on 277 reviews, with an average rating of 5.7/10. According to its consensus, Angelina Jolie's magnetic performance outshines Maleficent's dazzling special effects. Unfortunately, the movie around them fails to justify all that impressive effort. 160. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 56 out of 100 based on 44 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 161 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an A grade on a scale of A+ to F. 124. The New York Times stated, "With two shorn wings and an astonishing maternal kiss, Maleficent demolishes stereotypes that were only tweaked in Frozen." 162. Kate Taylor of the Globe and Mail was very positive about the film, writing that it surprises not for its Baroque visions of a colorful woodland enlivened by joyous fairies and a forbidding castle peopled by unhappy humans, but rather for the thematic richness of its story gloriously personified by Angelina Jolie in the title role. While criticizing the overuse of CGI and 3D effects, she particularly praised the positive message of the film and Jolie's performance. She concluded her review with, "Long live the feminist revisionist backstory." 163. On the contrary, Keith Statskiewicz, writing for the Entertainment Weekly, awarded the film a B and wrote that there's a lot of levitating cliffs and odd flora. But despite their bleeding-edge digital design, the backgrounds have all the depth of the old matte-painted backgrounds of the analog days, which made the film feel classical in nature. He further commented that the characters are boiled down to their essentials, the humor is timelessly broad. 164. Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 2.5 stars, commenting that the recent formula that a new angle on a well-known fairy tale appears in the light works with Maleficent. He also said that the film is all about second thoughts since Maleficent spends much of the film as Aurora's conflicted fairy godmother. Phillips particularly praised Jolie and Elle Fanning's acting, Rick Baker's makeup, for Jolie's angular, serrated look, but criticized James Newton Howard's sloshy, pushy musical score. 165. Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph wrote, "This Disney reimagining of Sleeping Beauty lacks true enchantment, but Angelina Jolie saves the day." 166. Betsy Sharkey of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "This is Jolie's film because of the Maleficent she makes. Everyone else, even Aurora, fades in her presence." 167. J.C. Masick III of Pop Matters wrote, "Even at its silliest, Maleficent is a well-acted film, with Sharlto Copley turning in a memorable performance and Elle Fanning proving to be an inspired choice for Aurora/Sleeping Beauty. Jolie manages to steal her own show in most every scene. Jolie is excellent as the hopeful fairy, enjoying the world she flies through. She is also brilliant as the Dark Lady, who could be a perfect counterpart to any Darth Vader, as she malevolently takes her revenge on those who have wronged her." 168. Ann Hornaday of the Washington Post awarded the film 3.5 out of 4 stars, commenting, "Still, for all its limitations, Maleficent manages to be improbably entertaining to watch, due solely to its title character." 169. Writing for Roger Ebert's website, Matt Zoller Seitz awarded Maleficent 3 out of 4 stars, praising the themes of the film and the acting of Jolie. Seitz also called the scene in which Maleficent discovers the loss of her wings the most traumatizing image I've seen in a Hollywood fairy tale since the Christ-like sacrifice of Aslan in 2005's The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. 170. The review in the Globe and Mail further explained that in the simple context of a fairy tale, Jolie does make both the terrifying horned creature and her gradual awakening heartfelt, extolling the emotional richness behind her physical acts. 163. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times felt more negatively, assigning it a D. Although Roper praised the visuals, he criticized the acting and writing, stating that the story itself might well put you into the same type of coma that befalls the heroine. 171. Mary Costa, who voiced Aurora in the 1959 animated motion picture, called the film a very good movie. She added that the concept and perspective are totally different than the original films, which makes it new and interesting. As for Jolie's performance, she said, "No one could have played the part of Maleficent better," concluding that she was absolutely magnificent. 172. Rape allegory. Multiple reviewers and commentators have opined that an early scene in the movie, in which Stefan drugs Maleficent and removes her wings from her unconscious body, is a metaphor for rape. Haley Krischer of the Huffington Post interpreted the scene as an important reference to rape culture. "This is the horrific side of rape culture. We're so enmeshed in it that it's impossible to ignore a metaphoric rape that occurs in a Disney movie." She went on to praise the film for giving a positive and hopeful message to rape victims, ultimately allowing the woman to recover. "It gives her agency. It gives her power. It allows her to reclaim the story." 173. Monica Bartizel of The Week noted the scene's implications in her review. "In its first act, Maleficent offers a dark, surprisingly adult exploration of rape and female mutilation." However, Bartizel went on to opine that the film portrayed Maleficent's actions as a rape revenge fantasy and criticized the film for not following through on its early subtext, ultimately calling it less feminist and reductive compared to its 1959 counterpart. In Maleficent, Aurora is the product of a cold and loveless marriage and a vengeful, unhinged rapist. Her safety relies on a trio of clueless and dangerously careless fairies, and her godmother is the woman who cursed her, and who had, in turn, been violated by her own father. 174. Angelina Jolie addressed the issue during an interview with BBC Radio 4 on the Woman's Hour program, claiming that the subtext was intentional. The question was asked, what could make a woman become so dark and lose all sense of her maternity, her womanhood, and her softness? "We were very conscious, the writer and I, that the scene was a metaphor for rape." 175. She further explained that the answer to the question what could bring her back was still an extreme Disney, fun version of the story, but at the core it is abuse, and how the abused then have a choice of abusing others or overcoming and remaining loving. Open people. Angelina Jolie, /Jolie, born Angelina Jolie Voigt, June 4, 1975, is an American actress, filmmaker, and humanitarian. The recipient of numerous accolades, including an Academy Award, a Tony Award and 3 Golden Globe Awards, she has been named Hollywood's highest-paid actress multiple times. Jolie made her screen debut as a child alongside her father, Jon Voight, in Lookin' to Get Out, 1982. Her film career began in earnest a decade later with the low-budget production Cyborg 2, 1993, followed by her first leading role in Hackers, 1995. After starring in the television films George Wallace, 1997, and Gia, 1998, Jolie won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the 1999 drama Girl, Interrupted. Her portrayal of the titular heroine in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, 2001, established her as a leading lady. Jolie's success continued with roles in the action films Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005, Wanted, 2008, and Salt, 2010, as well as in the fantasy films Maleficent, 2014, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, 2019, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero film Eternals, 2021. Jolie had voice roles in the animated films Shark Tale, 2004, and the Kung Fu Panda franchise, 2008 to 2016, and gained praise for her dramatic performances in A Mighty Heart, 2007, Changeling, 2008, which earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress, and Maria, 2024. As a filmmaker, Jolie directed and wrote the war dramas In the Land of Blood and Honey, 2011, Unbroken, 2014, First They Killed My Father, 2017, and Without Blood, 2024. She also produced the musical The Outsiders, 2024, which won the Tony Award for Best Musical. Jolie is known for her humanitarian efforts. The causes she promotes include conservation, education, and women's rights. She has been noted for her advocacy on behalf of refugees as a special envoy for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. She has undertaken field missions to refugee camps and war zones worldwide. In addition to receiving a Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award among other honors, Jolie was made an honorary Dame Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. As a public figure, Jolie has been cited as one of the most powerful and influential people in the American entertainment industry. She has been cited as the world's most beautiful woman by various publications. Her personal life, including her relationships and health, has been the subject of widespread attention. Jolie is divorced from actors Johnny Lee Miller, Billy Bob Thornton, and Brad Pitt. She has 6 children with Pitt. Early life and background. Angelina Jolie Voight was born on June 4, 1975, at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, California, to actors Jon Voight and Mark-Ellen Bertrand. 345 She is the sister of actor James Haven, and the niece of singer Chip Taylor. 6 and geologist and volcanologist Barry Voight. 7 Her godparents are actors Jacqueline Bisset and Maximilian Schell. 8 On her father's side, Jolie is of German and Slovak descent. 9 While on her mother's side, she is of Dutch and French ancestry. She is a distant relative of former Dutch finance minister and Prime Minister Wim Kok. 10 11 12 Jolie has claimed to have distant indigenous, Iroquois, ancestry through her French-Canadian mother. However, her father says Jolie is not seriously Iroquois, saying it is something he and Bertrand made up to make Bertrand seem more exotic. 13. Jolie's father, actor Jon Voight, attending the 60th Academy Awards in 1988. Following her parents' separation in 1976, she and her brother lived with their mother, who had abandoned her acting ambitions to focus on raising her children. 14 Jolie's mother raised her as a Catholic but did not require her to go to church. 15 As a child, she often watched films with her mother, and it was this, rather than her father's successful career, that inspired her interest in acting. 16 Though she had a bit part in Voight's Lookin' to Get Out, 1982, at age 7. 17 When Jolie was 6 years old, Bertrand and her live-in partner, filmmaker Bill Day, moved the family to Palisades, New York. 18 They returned to Los Angeles 5 years later. 14 Jolie then decided she wanted to act and enrolled at the Lee Strasberg Theatre Institute, where she trained for 2 years and appeared in several stage productions. 19. Jolie first attended Beverly Hills High School, where she felt isolated among the children of some of the area's affluent families because her mother had a more modest income. She was teased by other students, who targeted her for being extremely thin and for wearing glasses and braces. 16 Her early attempts at modeling, at her mother's insistence, proved unsuccessful. 2021 She transferred to Moreno High School, an alternative school, where she became a punk outsider. 20 Wearing all black clothing, going out moshing, and engaging in knife play with her live-in boyfriend. 16 She dropped out of her acting classes and aspired to become a funeral director. 17 Taking at-home courses on embalming. 22 At age 16, after the relationship had ended, Jolie graduated from high school and rented her own apartment before returning to theater studies. 20 Though in 2004 she referred to this period with the observation, "I am still at heart and always will be just a punk kid with tattoos." 23. As a teenager, Jolie found it difficult to emotionally connect with other people, and as a result she self-harmed. 24 Later commenting, "For some reason, the ritual of having cut myself and feeling the pain, maybe feeling alive, feeling some kind of release, it was somehow therapeutic to me." 25. She also struggled with insomnia and an eating disorder. 22 And began using drugs. By age 20, she had used just about every drug possible, particularly heroin. 26 Jolie had episodes of depression and planned to commit suicide twice at age 19 and again at 22, when she attempted to hire a hitman to kill her. 17 When she was 24, she experienced a nervous breakdown and was admitted for 72 hours to UCLA Medical Center's psychiatric ward. 17 2 years later, after adopting her first child, Jolie found stability, later stating, "I knew once I committed to Maddox, I would never be self-destructive again." 27. Jolie has had a lifelong dysfunctional relationship with her father, which started when Voight left the family when she was less than a year old. 28 She has said that from then on their time together was sporadic and usually carried out in front of the press. 29 They reconciled when they appeared together in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, 2001, but their relationship again deteriorated. 14 Jolie petitioned the court to legally remove her surname, Voight, in favor of her middle name, which she had long used as a stage name. The name change was granted on September 12, 2002. 30 Voight then went public with their estrangement during an appearance on Access Hollywood, in which he claimed Jolie had serious mental problems. 31. At that point, her mother and brother also broke off contact with him. 32 Jolie and Voight did not speak for 6.5 years. 33 Eventually rebuilding their relationship in the wake of Bertrand's death from ovarian cancer on January 27, 2007. 32-34 And they both went public with their reconciliation 3 years later. 32. Career. Early work, 1991 to 1997. Jolie committed to acting professionally at the age of 16, but initially found it difficult to pass auditions, often being told that her demeanor was too dark. 17. She appeared in 5 of her brother's student films, made while he attended the USC School of Cinema Television, as well as in several music videos, such as those for Lenny Kravitz's Stand By My Woman, 1991, Antonello Venditti's Alta Maria, 1991, The Lemonheads' It's About Time, 1993, and Meat Loaf's Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, 1993. In 1993, she also appeared on the cover of the Widespread Panic album Everyday. 35 Jolie then learned from her father by noticing his method of observing people to become like them. Their relationship was less strained during this time, with Jolie realizing that they were both drama queens. 16. Jolie started her professional film career in 1993, when she played her first leading role in the direct-to-video science fiction sequel Cyborg 2, as a near-human robot designed for corporate espionage and assassination. She was so disappointed with the film that she did not audition again for a year. 17 Following a supporting role in the independent film Without Evidence, 1995, she starred in her first major studio film, Hackers, 1995. The New York Times critic Janet Maslin wrote that Jolie's character stands out, because she scowls even more sourly than her co-stars and is that rare female hacker who sits intently at her keyboard in a see-through top. 36. Hackers failed to make a profit at the box office, but developed a cult following after its video release. 37 The role in Hackers is considered Jolie's breakthrough. 38 39 40. After starring in the modern-day Romeo and Juliet adaptation Love Is All There Is, 1996, Jolie appeared in the road movie Mojave Moon, 1996. In Foxfire, 1996, she played Legs, a drifter who unites 4 teenage girls against a teacher who has sexually harassed them. Jack Matthews of the Los Angeles Times wrote of her performance, "It took a lot of hogwash to develop this character, but Jolie, Jon Voight's knockout daughter, has the presence to overcome the stereotype." Though the story is narrated by Maddie, Legs is the subject and the catalyst. 41. In 1997, Jolie starred with David Duchovny in the thriller Playing God, set in the Los Angeles underworld. The film was not well received by critics, Chicago Sun-Times critic Roger Ebert wrote that Jolie finds a certain warmth in a kind of role that is usually hard and aggressive. She seems too nice to be a mobster's girlfriend, and maybe she is. 42. Her next work, as a frontierswoman in the CBS miniseries True Women, 1997, was even less successful. Writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer, Robert Strauss dismissed her as horrid, a fourth-rate Scarlett O'Hara who relies on gnashed teeth and overly pouted lips. 43. Jolie also starred in the music video for the Rolling Stones' Anybody Seen My Baby? As a stripper who leaves mid-performance to wander New York City. 44. Rise to prominence, 1998 to 2000. Jolie's career prospects improved after she won a Golden Globe Award for her performance in TNT's George Wallace, 1997, a film about segregationist Alabama governor and presidential candidate George Wallace, played by Gary Sinise. Jolie portrayed Wallace's second wife, Cornelia Wallace, a performance Lee Winfrey of the Philadelphia Inquirer considered a highlight of the film. 45. George Wallace was well received by critics, and Jolie received a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Miniseries or a Movie for her performance. 46. Jolie portrayed supermodel Gia Karanji in HBO's Gia, 1998. The television film chronicles the destruction of Karanji's life and career as a result of her addiction to heroin, and her decline and death from AIDS in the mid-1980s. Vanessa Vance of Real.com retrospectively noted, Jolie gained wide recognition for her role as the titular Gia, and it's easy to see why. Jolie is fierce in her portrayal, filling the part with nerve, charm, and desperation, and her role in this film is quite possibly the most beautiful train wreck ever filmed. 47. For the second consecutive year, Jolie won a Golden Globe Award and received an Emmy Award nomination. She also won her first Screen Actors Guild Award. 48. In accordance with Lee Strasberg's method acting, Jolie preferred to stay in character in between scenes during many of her early films. While shooting Gia, she told her husband, Johnny Lee Miller, that she would not be able to phone him. I'd tell him, I'm alone, I'm dying, I'm gay, I'm not going to see you for weeks. 49. After Gia wrapped, she briefly gave up acting, because she felt that she had nothing else to give. 17. She separated from Miller and moved to New York, where she took night classes at New York University to study directing and screenwriting. 14. Encouraged by her Golden Globe Award win for George Wallace and the positive critical reception of Gia, Jolie resumed her career. 17. Following the previously filmed gangster film Hell's Kitchen, 1998, Jolie returned to the screen in Playing by Heart, 1998, part of an ensemble cast that included Sean Connery, Gillian Anderson, and Ryan Phillip. The film received predominantly positive reviews, and Jolie was praised. In particular, San Francisco Chronicle critic Peter Stack wrote, Jolie, working through an overwritten part, is a sensation as the desperate club crawler learning truths about what she's willing to gamble. 50. She won the Breakthrough Performance Award from the National Board of Review. 51. In 1999, Jolie starred in the comedy drama Pushing Tin, alongside John Cusack, Billy Bob Thornton, and Cate Blanchett. The film met with mixed reception from critics, and Jolie's character Thornton's seductive wife was particularly criticized. Writing for the Washington Post, Desson Howe dismissed her as a completely ludicrous writer's creation of a free-spirited woman who weeps over hibiscus plants that die, wears lots of turquoise rings, and gets real lonely when Russell spends entire nights away from home. 52. Jolie then co-starred with Denzel Washington in The Bone Collector, 1999, playing a police officer who reluctantly helps Washington's quadriplegic detective track down a serial killer. The film grossed $151.5 million worldwide, 53, but was critically unsuccessful. Terry Lawson of the Detroit Free Press concluded, Jolie, while always delicious to look at, is simply and woefully miscast. 54. Jolie is emerging as one of the great wild spirits of current movies, a loose cannon who somehow has deadly aim. Chicago Sun-Times critic Roger Ebert on Jolie's performance in Girl, Interrupted, 1999, 55. Jolie next took the supporting role of Lisa, a sociopathic patient in a psychiatric hospital, in Girl, Interrupted, 1999, an adaptation of Susanna Kayson's 1993 memoir. For Variety, Emmanuel Levy deemed her excellent as the flamboyant, irresponsible girl who turns out to be far more instrumental than the doctors in Susanna's rehabilitation. 56. Jolie won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress, Motion Picture, the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Supporting Role, and the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her performance in the film. In 2000, Jolie appeared in her first summer blockbuster, Gone in 60 Seconds, which became her highest-grossing film to that point, earning $237.2 million internationally. 53. She had a minor role as the mechanic ex-girlfriend of a car thief played by Nicolas Cage. The Washington Post writer Stephen Hunter criticized that all she does in this movie is stand around, cooling down, modeling those fleshy, pulsating muscle tubes that nest so provocatively around her teeth. 57. Jolie later explained that the film had been a welcome relief after her emotionally demanding role in Girl, Interrupted. Worldwide recognition, 2001 to 2004. Although widely praised for her acting and performances, Jolie had rarely found films that appealed to a wide audience, but 2001's Lara Croft, Tomb Raider made her an international superstar. An adaptation of the popular Tomb Raider video games, the film required her to learn an English accent and undergo extensive martial arts training to play the archaeologist-adventurer Lara Croft. Although the film generated mostly negative reviews, Jolie was generally praised for her physical performance. Newsday's John Anderson commented, "Jolie makes the title character a virtual icon of female competence and couth." 58. The film was an international hit, earning $274.7 million worldwide. 53. And launched her global reputation as a female action star. Jolie next starred opposite Antonio Banderas as his mail-order bride in Original Sin, 2001, the first of a string of films that were poorly received by critics and audiences alike. The New York Times critic Elvis Mitchell questioned Jolie's decision to follow her Oscar-winning performance with softcore nonsense. 59. The romantic comedy Life or Something Like It, 2002, though equally unsuccessful, marked an unusual choice for Jolie. Salon magazine's Alan Barra considered her ambitious newscaster character a rare attempt at playing a conventional women's role, noting that her performance doesn't get off the ground until a scene where she goes punk and leads a group of striking bus workers in singing Satisfaction. 60. Despite her lack of box office success, Jolie remained in demand as an actress. 23. In 2002, she established herself among Hollywood's highest-paid actresses, earning $10 to $15 million per film for the next 5 years. 61. Jolie at the German premiere of Alexander in 2004. Jolie reprised her role as Lara Croft in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, 2003, which was not as lucrative as the original, earning $156.5 million at the international box office. 53. She also starred in the music video for Korn's Did My Time, which was used to promote the sequel. Her next film was Beyond Borders, 2003, in which she portrayed a socialite who joins an aid worker played by Clive Owen. Though unsuccessful with audiences, the film stands as the first of several passion projects Jolie has made to bring attention to humanitarian causes. 62. Beyond Borders was a critical failure. Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times acknowledged Jolie's ability to bring electricity and believability to roles, but wrote that the limbo of a hybrid character, a badly written cardboard person in a fly-infested, blood and guts world, completely defeats her. 63. In 2004, Jolie appeared in 4 films. She first starred in the thriller Taking Lives as an FBI profiler summoned to help Montreal law enforcement hunt down a serial killer. The film received mixed reviews. The Hollywood Reporter critic Kirk Honeycutt concluded, "Jolie plays a role that definitely feels like something she has already done, but she does add an unmistakable dash of excitement and glamour." 64. Jolie made a brief appearance as a fighter pilot in Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, a science fiction adventure shot entirely with actors in front of a blue screen, and voiced her first family film, the DreamWorks animation Shark Tale. Her supporting role as Queen Olympias in Oliver Stone's Alexander, about Alexander the Great, was met with mixed reception, particularly concerning her Slavic accent. 60. Commercially, the film failed in North America, which Stone attributed to disapproval of the depiction of Alexander's bisexuality. 65. But it succeeded internationally, grossing $167.3 million. 53. Established actress, 2005 to 2010. In 2005, Jolie returned to major box office success with the action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith, in which she starred opposite Brad Pitt as a bored married couple who find out that they are both secret assassins. The film received mixed reviews, but was generally lauded for the chemistry between the two leads. Star Tribune critic Colin Covert noted, "While the story feels haphazard, the movie gets by on gregarious charm, galloping energy, and the star's thermonuclear screen chemistry." 66. With box office takings of $478.2 million worldwide, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was the 7th highest grossing picture of the year and remained Jolie's highest grossing live-action film for the next decade. 53. 67. Following a supporting role as the neglected wife of a CIA officer in Robert De Niro's The Good Shepherd, 2006, Jolie starred as Marion Pearl in the documentary-style drama A Mighty Heart, 2007. Based on Pearl's 2003 memoir, the film chronicles the kidnapping and murder of her husband, the Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl, in Pakistan. Although the multiracial Pearl had personally chosen Jolie for the role. 68. The casting drew racial criticism and accusations of blackface. 69. The resulting performance was widely praised. Ray Bennett of The Hollywood Reporter described it as well-measured and moving, played with respect and a firm grasp on a difficult accent. 70. She received nominations for the Golden Globe Award and the Screen Actors Guild Award. Jolie also played Grendel's mother in the epic Beowulf, 2007, created through motion capture. The film was critically and commercially well received, earning $196.4 million worldwide. 53. In 2008, Jolie was the highest paid actress, earning $15 to $20 million per film. 71. 72. While other actresses had taken salary cuts during the time, Jolie's perceived box office appeal allowed her to command as much as $20 million plus a percentage. 73. She starred alongside James McAvoy and Morgan Freeman in the action film Wanted, 2008, which proved an international success, earning $341.4 million worldwide. 53. The film received predominantly favorable reviews. Writing for the New York Times, Manala Dargis noted that Jolie was perfectly cast as a super scary, seemingly amoral assassin, adding that she cuts the kind of disciplinarian figure who can bring boys of all ages to their knees or at least into their theater seats. 74. Jolie as Christine Collins on the set of Changeling in 2007. Jolie next took the lead role in Clint Eastwood's drama Changeling, 2008. 75. Chicago Tribune critic Michael Phillips noted, "Jolie really shines in the calm before the storm, the scenes when one patronizing male authority figure after another belittles her at their peril." 76. She received nominations for a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, the BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role, and the Academy Award for Best Actress. 77. 78. 79. 80. Jolie also voiced Tigress in the DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda film series. 81. After her mother's death in 2007, Jolie appeared in fewer films, later explaining that her motivation to be an actress had stemmed from her mother's acting ambitions. 82 Her first film in 2 years was the 2010 thriller Salt, in which she starred as a CIA agent who goes on the run after she is accused of being a KGB sleeper agent. Originally written as a male character with Tom Cruise attached to star, Agent Salt underwent a gender change after a Columbia Pictures executive suggested Jolie for the role. With revenues of $293.5 million, Salt became an international success. 53 The film received generally positive reviews, with Jolie's performance in particular earning praise. 83 Empire critic William Thomas remarked, "When it comes to selling incredible, crazy, death-defying antics, Jolie has few peers in the action business." 84 Jolie starred opposite Johnny Depp in the thriller The Tourist, 2010. The film was a critical failure. 85 Roger Ebert defended Jolie's performance, stating that she does her darndest and plays her femme fatale with flat-out, drop-dead sexuality. 86 Despite commercially underperforming in the US, the film succeeded at the international box office. 87 Cementing Jolie's appeal to international audiences. 88 She received a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical nomination for her performance, which prompted speculation that it had been given merely to ensure her high-profile presence at the awards ceremony. 77-89 Expansion to directing, 2011 to 2017. Jolie at the 2011 Cannes Film Festival. After directing the documentary A Place in Time, 2007, which was distributed through the National Education Association, 90 Jolie made her feature directorial debut with In the Land of Blood and Honey, 2011, a love story between a Serb soldier and a Bosniak prisoner, set during the 1992-95 Bosnian War. She conceived the film to rekindle attention for the survivors, after twice visiting Bosnia and Herzegovina in her role as a UNRWA Goodwill Ambassador. 91 To ensure authenticity, she cast only actors from the former Yugoslavia, including stars Goran Kostic and Zana Marjanovic, and incorporated their wartime experiences into her screenplay. 92 Upon release, the film received mixed reviews. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter wrote, "Jolie deserves significant credit for creating such a powerfully oppressive atmosphere and staging the ghastly events so credibly, even if it is these very strengths that will make people not want to watch what's on screen." 93. The film was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and Jolie was named an honorary citizen of Sarajevo for raising awareness of the war. 94. After a 3.5-year absence from the screen, Jolie starred in Maleficent, 2014, a live-action reimagining of Disney's 1959 animation Sleeping Beauty. Critical reception was mixed, but Jolie's performance in the titular role was singled out for praise. 95 The Hollywood Reporter critic Sherry Linden found her to be the heart and soul of the film, adding that she doesn't chew the estimable scenery in Maleficent, she infuses it, wielding a magnetic and effortless power. 96. In its opening weekend, Maleficent earned nearly $70 million at the North American box office and over $100 million in other markets, marking Jolie's appeal to audiences of all demographics in both action and fantasy films, genres usually dominated by male actors. 97 The film went on to gross $757.8 million worldwide, becoming the fourth highest grossing film of the year and Jolie's highest grossing film ever. 53-98. Jolie next completed her second directorial venture, Unbroken, 2014, a film about Louis Zamperini, 1917-2014, a former Olympic track star and World War II soldier who survived a plane crash and spent 2 years in a Japanese prisoner of war camp. She also served as producer under her Jolie Pa banner. 99 Based on Laura Hillenbrand's book Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption, the film was scripted by the Coen brothers and starred Jack O'Connell. 100 After a positive early reception, Unbroken was considered a likely Best Picture and Best Director contender 100-101, but it ultimately received mixed reviews and little award recognition 102, though it was named one of the best films of the year by the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute. 103-104 Variety magazine's Justin Chang noted the film's impeccable craftsmanship and sober restraint, but deemed it an extraordinary story told in dutiful, unexceptional terms. 102-105 Financially, Unbroken was successful at the box office worldwide. 106 Jolie promoting Eternals at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. Jolie's next directorial effort was the marital drama By the Sea, 2015, in which she starred opposite her husband, Brad Pitt, marking their first collaboration since 2005's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Based on her screenplay, the film was a deeply personal project for Jolie, who drew inspiration from her own mother's life. Critics, however, dismissed it as a vanity project, as part of an overall poor reception. 107-108 Writing for the Washington Post, Stephanie Mary noted its dearth of genuine emotion, stating, "By the Sea is dazzlingly gorgeous, as are its stars. But peeling back layer upon layer of exquisite ennui reveals nothing but emptiness, sprinkled with stilted sentiments." 109 Despite starring two of Hollywood's leading actors, the film received only a limited release. 107 As Jolie preferred to dedicate herself to her humanitarian work, her cinematic output remained infrequent. First They Killed My Father, 2017, a drama set during Cambodia's Khmer Rouge era, again enabled her to combine both interests. In addition to directing the film, she co-wrote the screenplay with her longtime friend Lung Leung, whose memoirs about the regime's child labor camps served as its source material. Intended primarily for a Cambodian audience, the film was produced directly for Netflix, which allowed for the use of an exclusively Khmer cast and script. 110 Labeling Jolie as a skilled and sensitive filmmaker, Rafer Guzman of Newsday commended her for convincingly depicting the illogical hell of the Khmer Rouge era. 111 It received nominations for the Golden Globe Award for Best Foreign Language Film and BAFTA Award for Best Film Not in the English Language. 112-113 Limited work and varying critical reception, 2019, present. Jolie in 2024. Jolie reprised the role of Maleficent in the Disney fantasy sequel Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, 2019, which received mixed reviews from critics but performed moderately well commercially, with a global gross of $490 million. 114, 115, 116 The following year, she appeared alongside David Oyelowo as grieving parents to the title characters of Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan in the fantasy film Come Away. 117 Jolie starred as a smoke jumper in Taylor Sheridan's action thriller Those Who Wish Me Dead. The film was released in May 2021, garnering moderate reviews. 118-119 The Independent's Clarice Luffrey wrote Jolie's bare-knuckled performance easily outclasses the film that contains it. 120 Jolie next played Thena, a warrior with post-traumatic stress disorder, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero film Eternals. Released in November 2021, the film generated divergent responses from audiences and critics. 121-122 Reviewing the film for The Washington Post, Anne Hornaday highlighted the touching naivete in Jolie's portrayal. 123. Jolie was a producer on the musical The Outsiders after it transferred to Broadway in 2024. 124 and won the Tony Award for Best Musical. 125 She wrote, produced, and directed the 2024 war drama Without Blood, based on the novel by Alessandro Baricco, starring Salma Hayek and Demian Bichir. 126 Jolie also starred in Pablo Larraín's biographical film about the final days of opera singer Maria Callas, titled Maria, which premiered at the 81st Venice International Film Festival. 127 terming it a career best performance. Tom Rees-Lafley of RoachRebert.com opined, in a queenly performance of poise and mystique, Angelina Jolie plays Callas with an ethereal presence, grasping the intense grief of the once-in-a-generation singer who's been losing her voice. 128. She received another Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress for her performance. 129. Humanitarian work. UNRWA ambassadorship. We cannot close ourselves off to information and ignore the fact that millions of people are out there suffering. I honestly want to help. I don't believe I feel differently from other people. I think we all want justice and equality, a chance for a life with meaning. All of us would like to believe that if we were in a bad situation someone would help us. Jolie on her motives for joining UNRWA in 2001. 130. Jolie first witnessed the effects of a humanitarian crisis while filming Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, 2001, in war-torn Cambodia, an experience she later credited with having brought her a greater understanding of the world. 131. Upon her return home, Jolie contacted the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNRWA, for information on international trouble spots. 130. To learn more about the conditions in these areas, she began visiting refugee camps around the world. 23. In February 2001, she went on her first field visit, an 18-day mission to Sierra Leone and Tanzania. She later expressed her shock at what she had witnessed. 130. In the following months, Jolie returned to Cambodia for 2 weeks and met with Afghan refugees in Pakistan, where she donated $1 million in response to an international UNRWA emergency appeal. 132. 133. The largest donation UNRWA had ever received from a private individual. 134. She covered all costs related to her missions and shared the same rudimentary working and living conditions as UNRWA field staff on all of her visits. 130. Jolie was named an UNRWA Goodwill Ambassador at UNRWA headquarters in Geneva on August 27, 2001. 135. Jolie and Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice at an UNRWA celebration of World Refugee Day in June 2005. Jolie is seen during her visit to war-ravaged Jaffna and other parts of Northern Province, Sri Lanka as the Goodwill Ambassador for UNRWA in 2003. Over the next decade, she went on more than 40 field missions, meeting with refugees and internally displaced persons in over 30 countries. 136. In 2002, when asked what she hoped to accomplish, she stated, "Awareness of the plight of these people. I think they should be commended for what they have survived, not looked down upon." 132. To that end, her 2001-02 field visits were chronicled in her book Notes from My Travels, which was published in October 2003 in conjunction with the release of her humanitarian drama Beyond Borders. Jolie aimed to visit what she termed forgotten emergencies, crises that media attention had shifted away from. 137. She became noted for traveling to war zones. 138. Such as Sudan's Darfur region during the Darfur conflict. 139. The Syrian-Iraqi border during the Second Gulf War. 140. Where she met privately with U.S. troops and other multinational forces. 141. And the Afghan capital Kabul during the war in Afghanistan, where 3 aid workers were murdered in the midst of her first visit. 138. To aid her travels, she started to take flying lessons in 2004 with the aim of ferrying aid workers and food supplies around the world. Jolie acquired a pilot license in 2004. As of May 2014, she owns a Cirrus SR-22 aircraft and a Cessna 208 Caravan aircraft. 142. 143. On April 17, 2012, after more than a decade of service as an UNRWA Goodwill Ambassador, Jolie was promoted to the rank of Special Envoy to High Commissioner Antonio Guterres, the first to take on such a position within the organization. In her expanded role, she was given authority to represent Guterres and UNRWA at the diplomatic level, with a focus on major refugee crises. 144 In the months following her promotion, she made her first visit as special envoy, her third overall, to Ecuador, where she met with Colombian refugees. 145 And she accompanied Guterres on a week-long tour of Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iraq, to assess the situation of refugees from neighboring Syria. 146 Since then, Jolie has been on over a dozen field missions around the world to meet with refugees and undertake advocacy on their behalf. 136 147 Jolie resigned from the ambassadorship in December 2022. 148 In her announcement, she pledged to continue to advocate for refugees. 149 Conservation and Community Development. Jolie at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in January 2005. In an effort to connect her Cambodian-born adopted son with his heritage, Jolie purchased a house in his country of birth in 2003. The traditional home sat on 39 hectares in the northwestern province Battambang, adjacent to Samlaut National Park in the Cardamom Mountains, which had become infiltrated with poachers who threatened endangered species. She purchased the park's 60,000 hectares and turned the area into a wildlife reserve named for her son, the Maddox Jolie Project. 150 In November 2006, Jolie expanded the scope of the project, renamed the Maddox Jolie Pitt Foundation, MJP, to create Asia's first Millennium Village, in accordance with UN Development Goals. 151 She was inspired by a meeting with the founder of Millennium Promise, noted economist Jeffrey Sachs, at the World Economic Forum in Davos. 150 Where she was an invited speaker in 2005 and 2006. Together they filmed a 2005 MTV special, The Diary of Angelina Jolie and Dr. Jeffrey Sachs in Africa, which followed them on a trip to a Millennium Village in western Kenya. By mid-2007, some 6,000 villagers and 72 employees, some of them former poachers employed as rangers, lived and worked at MJP, in 10 villages previously isolated from one another. The compound includes schools, roads, and a soy milk factory, all funded by Jolie. Her home functions as the MJP field headquarters. 150 After filming Beyond Borders, 2003, in Namibia, Jolie became patron of the Harness Wildlife Foundation, a wildlife orphanage and medical center in the Kalahari Desert. She first visited the Harness farm during production of the film, which features vultures rescued by the foundation. 152 In December 2010, Jolie and her partner, Brad Pitt, established the Shiloh Jolie Pitt Foundation to support conservation work by the Nankyos Wildlife Sanctuary, a nature reserve also located in the Kalahari. 153 In name of their Namibian-born daughter, they have funded large animal conservation projects as well as a free health clinic, housing, and a school for the San Bushman community at Nankyos. 154 155 156 Jolie and Pitt support other causes through the Jolie Pitt Foundation, established in September 2006. 157 Child immigration and education. Jolie has pushed for legislation to aid child immigrants and other vulnerable children in both the U.S. and developing nations, including the Unaccompanied Alien Child Protection Act of 2005. 135 158 She lobbied for humanitarian interests in the U.S. Capitol from 2003 onwards, explaining, "As much as I would love to never have to visit Washington, that's the way to move the ball." 135 Since October 2008, she has co-chaired Kids in Need of Defense, KIND, a network of leading U.S. law firms that provide free legal aid to unaccompanied minors in immigration proceedings across the U.S. 159 Founded in a collaboration between Jolie and the Microsoft Corporation, by 2013, KIND had become the principal provider of pro bono lawyers for immigrant children. 160 Jolie had previously, from 2005 to 2007, funded the launch of a similar initiative, the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants National Center for Refugee and Immigrant Children. 158-161. Jolie on the cover of Ms. Magazine in 2015, in which she discusses child marriage. Jolie has also advocated for children's education. Since its founding at the Clinton Global Initiative's annual meeting in September 2007, she has co-chaired the Education Partnership for Children of Conflict, which provides policy and funding to education programs for children in conflict-affected regions. 162 in its first year, the partnership supported education projects for Iraqi refugee children, youth affected by the Darfur conflict, and girls in rural Afghanistan, among other affected groups. 162 The partnership has worked closely with the Council on Foreign Relations Center for Universal Education founded by the partnership's co-chair, noted economist Gene Sperling, to establish education policies, which resulted in recommendations made to UN agencies, G8 development agencies, and the World Bank. 163 Since April 2013, all proceeds from Jolie's high-end jewelry collection, Style of Jolie, have benefited the partnership's work. 164 Jolie additionally launched the Malala Fund, a grant system established by Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai, at the 2013 Women in the World Summit. 165 She personally contributed over $200,000 to the cause. 166 Jolie has funded a school and boarding facility for girls at Kakuma refugee camp in northwestern Kenya. 167 Which opened in 2005. 168 And two primary schools for girls in the returnee settlements Tangi and Kalegudar in eastern Afghanistan, which opened in March 2010 and November 2012 respectively. 169 170 In addition to the facilities at the Millennium Village she established in Cambodia, Jolie had built at least 10 other schools in the country by 2005. 171 In February 2006, she opened the Maddox Shivan Children's Center, a medical and educational facility for children affected by HIV, in the Cambodian capital Phnom Penh. 151 In Sabeta, Ethiopia, the birthplace of her eldest daughter, she funds a sister facility, the Zahara Children's Center, which treats and educates children who have HIV or tuberculosis. Both centers are run by the Global Health Committee. 172 173 Jolie is the executive producer of the BBC programme My World, which aims to teach teenagers how to think critically about what they read and how to tell high-quality journalism from bad. 174 She and Amnesty International released a children's rights book titled Know Your Rights and Claim Them on September 2, 2021. She co-authored the book with British human rights lawyer Geraldine Van Buren. 175 Human Rights and Women's Rights. Jolie at the launch of the Preventing Sexual Violence Initiative in 2012. After Jolie joined the Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, in June 2007. 176 She hosted a symposium on international law and justice at CFR headquarters and funded several CFR special reports, including Intervention to Stop Genocide and Mass Atrocities. 147 159 In January 2011, she established the Jolie Legal Fellowship. 177 A network of lawyers and attorneys who are sponsored to advocate the development of human rights in their countries. 178 Its member attorneys, called Jolie Legal Fellows, have facilitated child protection efforts in Haiti in the wake of the 2010 earthquake and promoted the development of an inclusive democratic process in Libya following the 2011 revolution. 177 178 179 Jolie has fronted a campaign against sexual violence in military conflict zones by the UK government, which made the issue a priority of its 2013 G8 presidency. In May 2012, she launched the Preventing Sexual Violence Initiative, PSVI, with Foreign Secretary William Hague. 180 Who was inspired to campaign on the issue by her Bosnian war drama In the Land of Blood and Honey, 2011. 181 PSVI was established to complement wider UK government work by raising awareness and promoting international cooperation. 180 Jolie spoke on the subject at the G8 Foreign Ministers meeting 182 where the attending nations adopted a historic declaration 180 and before the UN Security Council, which responded by adopting its broadest resolution on the issue to date. 183 In June 2014, she co-chaired the 4-day Global Summit to End Sexual Violence in Conflict, the largest ever meeting on the subject 184 which resulted in a protocol endorsed by 151 nations. 185. Through her work on the PSVI, Jolie met foreign policy experts Chloe Dalton and Armin Kahilik, who served as special advisors to Hague. Their collaboration resulted in the 2015 founding of Jolie Pitt Dalton Helik, a partnership dedicated to women's rights and international justice, among other causes. 186